Francois, this is my last question, and I see a lot of successful companies that over the years transition management to the next generation, and they're driving growth and value, but they don't own a meaningful equity stake. And typically this is a result of the parents retiring a long time ago, but not selling their stock. And the parents are enjoying most of the economics without working full time. And this causes, as you know, a lot of strain personally and from a business relationship. And my question is really, how would you as the advisor approach this situation? What advice do you have for listeners to this podcast and who find themselves in this situation? What's the approach that you use?
I think the approach I would use, Michael, in that situation is really to start with a dialogue with the parents and really understanding their motivations for holding on to the control, holding on to which obviously hurts their estate planning and certainly the future of the business or could put the future of the business at risk, I would say, by not having proper estate planning. So what are some of the motivation that they have? Is it an income need because they have a certain level of income they have to maintain? Is it the fact that they want to have a role in the business still and they feel that, is it a fact that in many cases, we've seen family businesses where there's no confidence in the next generation, feel they're not going to be able to, particularly, we see that particularly when you have a founding generation transition to the second generation, they often have not the highest opinion of the next generation, and I think therefore they're holding on. So what are some of the reasons why? And I think once you peel that a little bit and peel the onion a little bit in terms of I think you can come up with some solutions. Could be a recapitalization of the business where there's some A and B stock, or where there's some, you peel off the economic control versus the financial control versus the voting control, work on a compensation or I think where the future growth of the value of the growth of the business would go to the next generation, and you maintain a certain level of income for the older generation, like we did in the old days of the preferred recaps, if you recall. But there's all different ways of doing that now. And then, and lastly, what I would say is I think that, and that's true for any kind of solution, I think that you pass on, is basically that you have to find a place for that elder generation to go to. It's very hard for elder generation to let go to business, to let go of the control. And I think so finding a way through governance mechanisms, be an advisory board, be a role on the board, be some way that they can actually continue to have a role in the business going forward, and they can be heard, and that their knowledge can be properly transmitted to the next generation. So, but as you said, that happens a lot. It happens a lot. Yeah. That letting go is very difficult to do in family businesses. I think that's. But the family business that you and I have seen that really succeeded at have created that place for the next the older generation, had enabled to incentivize the next generation to be able to be properly remunerated based on their performance, and that the patient capital of the family has been maintained, has been managed through family governance, through various mechanisms that you keep that patient capital together.
I mean, it's so interesting, and any mother or father can relate to this. They give advice to their kids, and kids don't follow, and then all of a sudden, someone else says the exact same thing, and all of a sudden, that's
absolutely
that's the right thing to do. And what I find, Francois, is we bring you into a situation, and all of a sudden. The parents are sitting there saying, "Well, we told you," or the kids, and you say it, and all of a sudden. And I think there's a really valuable role that you are playing in these situations to jumpstart what often is just stuck. People stuck.
Just stuck. Absolutely. So, no, totally. Yep.
So just in wrapping this up, this is a podcast that we're on advising family businesses with the invariable different levels of shareholders and with different objectives, roles, risk tolerances, timeframes, and the like. And I couldn't think of anyone more experienced than Francois de Visscher to talk about this topic, and very, very proud to be on this podcast with him. Thank you.
Well, Michael, thank you. And it was fun to share some of our experiences on this podcast. So really enjoy the dialogue. So thank you.